Namhla and welcome to Nam's Aha Moments. So today, I just wanted to share with you just something that's been on my heart that I hope also encourages you as well. So today I just got reminded about, the greatness of God, but not just the greatness of God, it is the greatness of God and the nearness of God. In His greatness, He is so concerned about us. He is involved in, all parts of our lives. He is nearer than we actually think that He is. And I know sometimes when life is up in the air and things are happening that we may forget that, God is present with us. God is with us in the situations that may be extremely difficult. He is with us in situations that are, happy. But today I got reminded of an aha moment that reminded me that God cares about me, about the big things. He cares about me, about the small things that I think don't even matter to Him. And He showcases His nearness to me in those small things that remind me that even in the small thing, He is with me and He loves me through that. I remember a couple of months ago, probably about 2 months ago, I was needing my medication. All right, so there's medications that I take on a monthly basis for intracranial hypertension. So anyway, I I went and trying to get my prescription, and I remember the pharmacist told me that it's out of stock, it's not available, and I was like, that's a problem. What do you mean it's out of stock? And she told me that it's out of stock, even from the supplier themselves, and the supplier is abroad. So I was like, this is going to be problematic. Then, and my meds were actually starting to like finish. I started going around looking at all different sort of like discounts, and I was pretty much getting the same thing. And then eventually I found a discount that was just like, I can only give you half of the dosage that you need, but we've also run out. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. And I'm like, there's a lot happening, and this is the last thing that I need. So anyway, I took that and hoped that by the time this dosage finishes, this thing will be back. Nope, no such luck. So I continued looking. Like I called all over, I called different pharmacies. I went, like it just nothing was available. And then eventually, when I was like, I really don't know what I'm going to do, I'll probably call my doctor, maybe they'll prescribe something else, but like I don't want something else. I don't want to get used to something else. I don't want to get used to other side effects. I just want what I need. And I remember calling one pharmacy one morning, and they were just like, we've only got a quarter of what you need. And I was like, I'll take that. And as I was driving to the place, there is a pharmacy that is close by my place, and it's small, so I never really thought anything about it. I didn't think about going there, nothing. So on my way, to this pharmacy that I had called, I remember feeling like the Spirit was saying, go to the pharmacy that's nearby. And I was like, but they're small. And I was like, nope, I'm going to go to my one first and then I'll come back. We'll see. And as I was driving, when I got to the robots where, the pharmacy was, I was just like, oh, what do I have to lose? So I turned and I went in and I got to the pharmacy. I got to the pharmacy, I was like, yeah, I'm looking for this meds. Apparently it's not available anywhere in the country. And she turned to me, she was just like, oh, no, we've got. I was like, you've got, like, you just up the road from my house, and you've got, and all of this time I have been looking everywhere else, everywhere. Like I went far and near, and like, I mean far, and I could not find this med. And she was like, no, we've got. And she took the prescription, got me the meds. I got a full sort of like prescription. I got the full meds for the month, and I was sorted. And at that moment, I remember just simply like reverting to God around, wow, you know, God knew just how stressed out about, this, and how much I really didn't want to try something new. And this is what I wanted. And it also just reminded me just so many times that the things that we're looking for sometimes are closer than we think. Half the time we're thinking that it's actually very far away, it's actually closer than we think if we only tap into what it is that God has for us. Only when we tap into the Spirit. And actually, more than that, is also when we decide to obey what it is that the Spirit is leading us to. And so that moment for me is like was such an aha moment and such a pivotal moment of reminding me that even in the small things, God is present with us. Because it was a crisis because, like, the medication was just not available. It wasn't available, I think, for like 2 months or whatever. But in those 2 months, God provided for me. He provided for me from the quarter this, half that, like when he consistently knew that it was just not available in the country. And every time I went to Dis-Chem, they were just like, hey, is they available in another province? And even they only have 10 or whatever. Like, it was just like such a situation. But in that moment, I realized that throughout that entire period, God had provided for me, number one. And number two, God was so near, and He knew what it is that I didn't want, and that He delivered right at my doorstep what it is that I wanted, and what it is that I needed, and that I didn't have to go through the drama of, getting used to, new medication. I mean, if I needed to, I would. But I think for me, it was such a beautiful reminder of, that psalm that says, who am I that you are mindful of me? Like, there are there are bigger things for you to be doing, than you to be to be considerate and care about the fact that, I need my medication and I needed this type of medication. So there's that. And also just simply just his love, and how near he is, on small things. And I think even on that medication, it wasn't even something that I like prayed about. It was like, okay, cool, God, now we need to. It was just something that I was irritated about. Um, but even in that moment, that I hadn't specified, God knows my heart. God knows the things that bother me without me actually even talking about it. That, he comes through for us, and that is just how loving He is. And I want to close off with just the Psalm 139 that says, "O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know my sitting down and my rising up. You understand my thought afar off. You comprehend my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all of my ways. For there is not a word on my tongue, but behold, O Lord, you know it all together. You have hedged me behind and before, and laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, and I cannot attain it." And so, just reminding us that God is present with us. He's present with you. The things that are sitting on your heart, the things that you're desiring, the things that you are struggling with, whether you have mentioned it in prayer or not, God is there. God is aware. He's hedging you. And if you listen in to Him, you'll probably find that what it is that you want is closer than you actually think. Not even like timing wise, but in just vicinity wise. That's just how beautiful God is towards us. So that's just to remind you that Daddy loves you, that Daddy loves us, and that He's close to us. And so I hope this aha moment was just sort of like an encouragement to you as well, just to be reminded that don't look too far, be present in the daily, in the things that God does for us. I mean, if I chose not to be present, be like, oh, okay, well, they've got it and I kept it moving, I would have missed out on the beauty of the miracle of the fact that God is actually, present in that situation, and He kind of worked it out together for my good. And so, yeah, I hope you have an amazing day, and check you out next time. Otherwise, thank you very much for listening. Cheers.